If you own property in Kenya, you need to listen up. The very ground rules of what it means to own land have just been completely rewritten. So let's get right into what this huge legal shakeup really means for you.
Seriously, whether you've owned land for generations or you're just thinking about buying, this affects you. The government has fundamentally changed the game. So in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly what has changed, why it's happening, and most importantly, what you need to be doing about it right now.
And make no mistake, this is official. On October 15th, the president signed the Land Amendment Bill. This isn't some proposal or an idea being kicked around anymore. It's now the law of the land.
Okay, so what's the single biggest change? Well, it's a total shift in the very concept of ownership. We're moving away from permanent possession and into a world of long-term leases. Let's really dig into what that means.
You know, for as long as anyone can remember, freehold has been the gold standard in Kenya. It meant that land was yours, period. You owned it, what was on it, forever. It was absolute, it was permanent, and it was the bedrock of security for so many people.
Well, the new reality is leasehold. Under this new system, you don't actually own the land forever. What you have is the right to use it for a fixed amount of time. And once that time is up, it technically goes back to the government. This is a massive redefinition of what it means to own your property. And this slide really lays it all out, doesn't it? Before, you had that permanent ownership, no clock ticking, and no annual rent to the government. Now, you've got a fixed term, a time limit, and a new yearly bill to pay to the state. That is a game changer. So, what is that new fixed term? What's the magic number? It's 99 years. All those freehold titles that people have held for years are now set to be converted into 99-year leases. This basically brings all that private land under one standardized, time-limited system. And this change isn't just on paper, it's going to hit you right in the wallet. Landowners are now looking at paying an annual land rent. And on top of that, you can expect new administrative fees for any land dealings, plus the actual costs of getting your old title converted over to the new leasehold one.
So this is a massive overhaul, right? And it brings up the big question, why? Why is the government making such a dramatic move? Well, the official reasons point to some pretty ambitious goals.
You can really see the two sides of the coin here. For owners, yeah, there are new costs and new hoops to jump through. But from the government's perspective, the stated goals are huge. Things like making the law clearer to boost investor confidence, cracking down on fraudulent land deals, and even funding better infrastructure to manage land records. When you boil it all down, it comes to this. The government is trying to streamline a system that has been, pretty complex and sometimes chaotic. The idea is that by moving everyone to a standardized leasehold model, they can create a more modern, transparent, and regulated land sector for the entire country. All right, we've covered the what and the why. Now, let's get to the most important part of this whole thing. What does this actually mean for you today, and what should you be doing about it? Okay, listen closely, because this is probably the single most important piece of information you'll hear. The bill was signed, yes, but, and this is a huge but, it is not fully operational yet. That's because it hasn't been gazetted.
So let's look at the timeline. The bill was signed back in October. Right now, we are in this waiting period. We're all waiting for the gazettement. The new rules, the new fees, all of it. None of it gets enforced until after that happens. That's when the clock really starts ticking.
So what in the world is gazettement? Think of it like the official starting gun. It's the formal, public announcement of the law in the official Kenya Gazette. Until that happens, the law is on the books, but it's not active. This is the one event that every single landowner needs to be watching out for. So, knowing that, here is your 3-step action plan for right now. Number 1, find your paperwork. Pull out your land titles and understand exactly what your current status is. Number 2, start planning for the new costs. You know they're coming, so start budgeting for that annual rent and those fees. And number 3, stay informed. Keep your eyes and ears open for that official gazettement announcement. There's no doubt about it, this is a major turning point for anyone who owns land in Kenya. It absolutely brings new responsibilities and new costs. But the promise is also for greater clarity and maybe even more security in the long run. So the big question for every owner and every investor is this: are you ready to navigate this transition into a whole new era of property?